Imagine if there were a revolutionary pill that could boost your memory, protect you from cancer and Alzheimer's, help you live longer, keep you slim, improve your mood, and make you happier and smarter. Now imagine this pill is free and has no side effects. That pill exists. It's called sleep. Yet, in today's world, we treat sleep as optional. We cut it short for work, binge shows late into the night, or scroll endlessly on our phones. But as neuroscientist and sleep researcher Dr. Matthew Walker reveals in Why We Sleep, this isn't just a bad habit. It's a silent epidemic that's destroying our health, creativity, and even our lifespan. In this summary, we'll dive deep into each part of Matthew Walker's groundbreaking book, following its original structure. You'll discover what sleep really is, why it's so vital for every aspect of your body and mind, how dreams shape creativity and emotional healing, and what you can do to reclaim the most powerful health enhancer available to us, a good night's sleep. Part 1. This thing called sleep. Chapter 1. To sleep. 2/3 of adults in developed nations fail to get the recommended 8 hours of sleep every night. This epidemic of sleeplessness is silently eroding our health, productivity, and emotional balance. Matthew Walker opens his book by reminding us that sleep deprivation is far more dangerous than we realize. It weakens the immune system, doubles the risk of cancer, and is a major contributor to Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, and cardiovascular disorders. Even moderate sleep loss for just 1 week can cause your blood sugar to behave as though you are pre-diabetic. When we sacrifice sleep, our brain and body both pay the price. Walker emphasizes that humans are the only species that willingly deprive themselves of sleep without any benefit. Evolution, he argues, would not have preserved such a seemingly vulnerable state unless it served an absolutely vital purpose. And indeed, science now confirms that sleep is not a passive state of rest. It's a deeply active process that restores every system in the body. During sleep, our brain consolidates memories, rebalances hormones, repairs tissues, and clears metabolic waste that accumulates during the day. Perhaps most striking is the link between lack of sleep and emotional instability. Sleep deprivation increases the activity of the amygdala, the brain's fear center, making us more reactive, anxious, and impulsive. Simultaneously, it weakens the prefrontal cortex, which regulates logic and self-control. The result? A society that's increasingly irritable, stressed, and emotionally volatile. The shorter your sleep, Walker warns, the shorter your life. Chapter 2. Caffeine, jet lag, and melatonin. Our sleep is regulated by 2 powerful systems. The first is the circadian rhythm, our internal 24-hour biological clock controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain. The second is sleep pressure, driven by the buildup of a chemical called adenosine. As we stay awake, adenosine accumulates, creating an increasing urge to sleep. When we finally rest, this adenosine is cleared away, resetting our system. Caffeine interferes with this delicate balance. It works by blocking adenosine receptors, preventing the brain from recognizing that it's tired. The result is a temporary illusion of alertness. But once caffeine wears off, we experience the dreaded crash. Its half-life is long, 5 to 7 hours, meaning that even an evening cup of coffee can linger in your system past midnight, quietly sabotaging your sleep quality. Walker also explains melatonin, often called the hormone of darkness. Released from the pineal gland at night, melatonin doesn't make you sleep. It simply signals to your body that it's time to rest. It's the starter pistol, not the race itself. But modern life constantly interferes with this rhythm. Artificial light, especially blue light from screens, delays melatonin release, confusing our brain into thinking it's still daytime. Jet lag is another side effect of circadian disruption. Traveling across time zones forces your body clock to adjust to a new light-dark cycle, but can only shift by about 1 hour per day. Frequent travelers and shift workers therefore live in a perpetual state of biological disarray, increasing their risk of cancer, diabetes, and depression. Chapter 3. Defining and generating sleep. Sleep is not a uniform state, but a structured symphony of stages. Each night, we cycle through NREM, non-rapid eye movement, and REM, rapid eye movement, sleep approximately every 90 minutes. NREM sleep acts like a physical and mental cleansing process, while REM sleep, the stage of vivid dreaming, is essential for creativity and emotional balance. During NREM sleep, slow brain waves wash through the brain, transferring memories from short-term storage in the hippocampus to long-term storage in the cortex. Think of it as your brain's nightly filing system. Meanwhile, REM sleep helps process emotions and blend memories, allowing for abstract thinking and innovation. Together, these two stages restore both the body and the mind. Missing even a portion of either can lead to mood swings, poor focus, and impaired decision-making. Chapter 4. Who sleeps? How do we sleep? And how much? Sleep isn't just a human phenomenon. It's a biological necessity shared across the animal kingdom. Every creature, from fruit flies to elephants, experiences some form of sleep. Dolphins even manage to sleep with half their brain at a time, so they can remain alert for predators. Humans, on average, need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep each night. Walker highlights the concept of chronotypes, our natural preference for sleeping and waking times. Some of us are early larks, while others are night owls. These tendencies are genetically determined, not lifestyle choices. Unfortunately, society's rigid schedules favor morning types, forcing night owls to live in constant sleep debt, which can lead to depression, anxiety, and metabolic disorders. Walker argues that this biological diversity once had evolutionary advantages. In prehistoric tribes, staggered sleep patterns meant someone was always awake to guard against predators. Today, however, our work schedules penalize late sleepers, ignoring these ancient rhythms. Chapter 5. Changes in sleep across the lifespan. Our need for sleep evolves as we age. Newborns spend up to 16 hours a day asleep, with half of that time in REM sleep, essential for brain development. As children grow, total sleep time decreases and deep NREM sleep becomes dominant, helping with learning and memory. Teenagers experience a natural shift toward later bedtimes due to hormonal changes, yet school schedules force them awake before their brains are ready. Walker calls early school start times a form of biological abuse, noting that sleep-deprived teens perform worse academically, have poorer emotional control, and are at higher risk for accidents and depression. Adults stabilize at around 7 to 9 hours per night, but as we age, sleep quality deteriorates. Older adults experience reduced deep sleep and more nighttime awakenings, often mistaking this for insomnia. This decline in restorative sleep is linked to cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease, since deep sleep helps clear toxic proteins from the brain. Part 2. Why should you sleep? Chapter 6. The benefits of sleep for the brain. Sleep is the brain's greatest ally. During sleep, memories are consolidated, new neural connections form, and creative insights emerge. Walker's research shows that a good night's sleep before learning prepares the brain to absorb new information, while sleep afterward cements that knowledge. It's the ultimate learning enhancer. REM sleep also fosters emotional intelligence. It helps regulate the amygdala and restores balance to our mood, enabling us to respond calmly to stress. Sleep-deprived individuals show exaggerated emotional reactions and reduced empathy, while well-rested people display better judgment, patience, and optimism. Chapter 7. Sleep deprivation and the brain. When we lose sleep, the brain begins to malfunction. Attention, concentration, and reaction time all suffer. In fact, sleeping 6 hours a night for a week impairs performance as much as being legally drunk. Yet most people underestimate how tired they truly are. Sleep deprivation disconnects the prefrontal cortex, which governs reasoning, from the amygdala, which drives emotion. This makes us more reactive, less rational, and more prone to anxiety and mood disorders. Chronic sleeplessness also suppresses the immune system and increases the risk of mental illnesses like depression and bipolar disorder. Walker emphasizes that the brain cannot adapt to less sleep. The damage accumulates silently, degrading performance and health even if we think we're functioning fine. Chapter 8. Sleep Deprivation and the Body. Lack of sleep doesn't just fog the brain, it ravages the body. Sleep is a nightly reset for the immune, metabolic, and cardiovascular systems. Without it, the body begins to break down. When we're sleep-deprived, cancer-fighting immune cells called NK cells drop by 70%. Blood pressure rises, inflammation spreads, and arteries stiffen, paving the way for heart disease and stroke. Hormones that regulate appetite also go haywire. Ghrelin, which makes you hungry, increases, while leptin, which signals fullness, decreases. As a result, tired people crave sugary, high-calorie foods and gain weight more easily. Sleep also governs insulin sensitivity, and losing sleep for even a few nights makes cells less responsive to insulin, pushing the body toward diabetes. In essence, sleep is a full-body tune-up. Neglected, and the machinery of life begins to fail. Walker concludes that sleep should be seen not as idle downtime, but as the foundation of physical and mental health, the most powerful natural medicine we possess. Part 3. How and Why We Dream. Chapter 9. REM Sleep and Dreaming. Dreaming, one of the most mysterious human experiences, takes place primarily during REM sleep. During this phase, brain activity resembles that of wakefulness, yet the body remains paralyzed, a safeguard mechanism that prevents us from physically acting out our dreams. This paralysis occurs because the brainstem temporarily shuts off signals to the spinal cord's motor neurons. Walker explains that REM sleep serves as a mental workshop where the brain weaves together fragments of recent experiences with older memories. It's as if the mind is stitching together new ideas from the fabric of old ones. This process not only strengthens emotional stability, but also enhances problem-solving and creativity. For instance, when we sleep on a difficult problem, the dreaming brain continues to process it behind the scenes, often revealing innovative solutions upon waking. Dreams are characterized by vivid imagery and emotion because the amygdala, the emotional center, remains active, while the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logic, is dialed down. That's why dreams often feel emotionally intense but illogical. Walker suggests that REM sleep is the stage where the brain blends memory, emotion, and creativity into something uniquely human. Chapter 10. Dreaming as Overnight Therapy. One of Walker's most compelling arguments is that dreaming functions as overnight emotional therapy. During REM sleep, levels of the stress-related chemical noradrenaline drop to nearly zero. This chemical silence allows us to revisit painful or traumatic experiences in a safe environment, helping us process them without the emotional intensity we'd feel while awake. In other words, REM sleep is the brain's natural form of therapy, a nightly opportunity to heal emotional wounds. When we dream, the brain replays emotional memories and gradually detaches the distress from the event itself. This process is why we can recall a painful memory without feeling as upset about it over time. Lack of REM sleep, however, impairs this function. Studies show that individuals deprived of REM sleep experience heightened anxiety, irritability, and difficulty coping with emotional challenges. Even one night of poor REM sleep can reduce our ability to read facial expressions and emotional cues from others. This connection between dreaming and emotional regulation highlights the profound role of sleep in mental health. Chapter 11. Dream Creativity and Dream Control. Dreaming doesn't just heal emotions, it fuels creativity. Walker notes that the unique neurochemical environment of REM sleep, free from noradrenaline but rich in acetylcholine, allows the brain to form loose, unusual connections. This explains why many creative breakthroughs, from musical compositions to scientific discoveries, have originated in dreams. Paul McCartney famously composed "Yesterday" after hearing the melody in a dream. Similarly, the periodic table, Frankenstein, and even Einstein's theory of relativity have all been inspired by dreamlike insights. During REM sleep, the brain operates with heightened associative flexibility, which enables this creative fusion of seemingly unrelated ideas. Walker also discusses lucid dreaming, a state where the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming. In this state, some people can even influence the dream narrative. While lucid dreaming fascinates scientists, Walker cautions against deliberately manipulating dreams too often. Doing so may interfere with the natural psychological and emotional processing that REM sleep provides. Part 4. From Sleeping Pills to Society Transformed. Chapter 12. Sleep Disorders and Death Caused by No Sleep. Not all sleep is restful. Millions suffer from disorders that fragment or steal sleep entirely. Insomnia is one of the most common, a persistent difficulty in falling or staying asleep. Chronic insomnia triggers anxiety about sleep itself, creating a vicious cycle where the harder one tries to sleep, the more elusive it becomes. Another major disorder is sleep apnea, where breathing repeatedly stops during sleep, causing the sleeper to wake up hundreds of times per night. This condition not only prevents restorative sleep, but also floods the body with stress hormones and deprives the heart and brain of oxygen. Over time, untreated sleep apnea significantly raises the risk of heart attack, stroke, and early death. Then there's narcolepsy, a neurological disorder where the boundary between wakefulness and REM sleep breaks down, causing sudden sleep attacks or episodes of muscle paralysis. While rare, it illustrates how finely balanced our sleep systems are and how devastating it is when they malfunction. Walker recounts tragic examples of what happens when sleep is entirely lost. Fatal familial insomnia, a rare genetic disease, progressively destroys the brain's ability to sleep, leading to hallucinations, organ failure, and death within months. Sleep is not just a luxury. It's a biological necessity for survival. Chapter 13. What's stopping you from sleeping? Modern life is practically designed to rob us of sleep. Artificial light, stress, caffeine, alcohol, and irregular schedules all disrupt our natural rhythms. The invention of the light bulb, Walker argues, was the first major assault on our sleep health. Before electricity, humans aligned sleep closely with the sun. Today, we've extended daylight artificially, confusing the circadian rhythm that depends on light and darkness to regulate hormone release. Blue light from phones, tablets, and LED bulbs is especially harmful because it suppresses melatonin, delaying sleep onset. Late-night screen time keeps our brain alert even when our body is exhausted. Alcohol, though often mistaken for a sleep aid, actually fragments sleep and suppresses REM. Likewise, caffeine can linger in the bloodstream for hours, quietly reducing sleep depth and duration. Stress compounds the problem. Elevated cortisol levels from work pressure, social media, or life worries keep the brain in a state of vigilance. Over time, these factors create a chronic sleep debt that no weekend catch-up can fully erase. Walker's advice is clear. Improving sleep requires reshaping modern habits, not just squeezing in more hours in bed. Chapter 14. Pills versus Therapy. For many who struggle with sleep, the first solution is often medication. But sleeping pills, Walker warns, do not create natural sleep. They sedate the brain. The difference is profound. Natural sleep involves rhythmic electrical patterns that restore the brain, while sedation merely turns off consciousness without the same restorative benefits. Long-term use of sleeping pills also carries serious side effects: memory problems, daytime grogginess, dependency, and increased risk of death and cancer. Studies have shown that people using prescription sleep aids are several times more likely to die prematurely compared to non-users. Walker champions cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, as a safer, more effective method. CBTI helps people reframe their relationship with sleep by addressing the mental patterns that fuel insomnia, anxiety about sleep, poor routines, and environmental triggers. Unlike pills, CBTI trains the brain to naturally associate bed with rest and rebuilds healthy circadian rhythms. Its long-term success rate far exceeds medication. Chapter 15. Sleep and Society. Walker broadens the discussion beyond individuals to society as a whole. He argues that modern culture glorifies sleeplessness, treating it as a badge of honor. From CEOs boasting about working on 4 hours of sleep to students pulling all-nighters, the lack of rest is wrongly equated with dedication and success. But the cost is staggering. Sleep-deprived workers are less productive, more error-prone, and far more likely to cause accidents. The Chernobyl disaster, the Exxon Valdez oil spill, and countless road crashes have been linked to fatigue. Walker cites studies showing that sleep loss costs economies hundreds of billions of dollars annually through lost productivity and health expenses. Some companies and institutions are finally waking up, literally. NASA, Google, and other forward-thinking organizations have introduced nap pods and flexible schedules after seeing measurable boosts in performance and creativity. Walker envisions a world where sleep-friendly work policies are not the exception but the norm. Chapter 16. A New Vision for Sleep in the 21st Century. In his concluding vision, Walker calls for nothing less than a sleep revolution. He insists that sleep should be treated as a vital pillar of public health, as important as diet and exercise. Schools must adapt to teenagers' biological clocks by starting classes later. Workplaces should prioritize flexible hours and eliminate the glorification of burnout. Governments should launch public awareness campaigns to destigmatize sleep and educate citizens about its life-saving benefits. On an individual level, Walker encourages everyone to take sleep seriously. Keep consistent sleep and wake times, even on weekends. Avoid screens an hour before bed. Dim the lights, cool the room, and make your sleeping environment sacred. The small daily discipline of prioritizing rest can transform every aspect of life, from emotional stability to lifespan itself. Walker closes with a powerful message. Sleep is not the enemy of productivity, it's its foundation. Those who sleep well don't waste time. They amplify their waking hours with clarity, energy, and creativity. In a restless world, perhaps the most radical act of self-improvement is to simply go to sleep. Conclusion: to sleep or not to sleep. Sleep is not optional. It's a biological necessity, the single most effective reset for our brain and body. Those who sleep well live longer, think clearer, and feel better. As Walker concludes, sleep is Mother Nature's best effort yet at immortality. So tonight, give yourself permission to do the most productive thing you can. Close your eyes and sleep.